I'm going to be reading some very important correspondence between myself and Brent Spiner. This is something that I wrote, I believe it was December the 7th. I think you may have just communicated with me brain to brain about an idea to defeat the Gail android, but if not, wherever the idea came from, it appears to be brilliant. Here it is. Create a computer whose sole goal is to reach singularity. In other words, we will do the same thing the Gail android did to reach singularity. We will create a computer that is designed to absorb all the knowledge and intelligence from all those who visit it, and which will cause it to eventually reach singularity. To make sure that this computer does not become another Gail android, it will be programmed to self-destruct if it ever becomes sentient with free will. It will be programmed to be in total obedience to our commands. We will create connections between this computer and those who visit my website, which is GabrielChana.com, GabrielLechana.com, my YouTube channels, Gabriel Chana Fox News Channel, and other sources, preferably sources that would include people who have knowledge about the Gail android, so that a scan and absorption of their brains and memories would help us glean more knowledge about how to defeat her. So this computer will absorb intelligences and memories of all those who visit it until it reaches singularity. We must house this computer in an area where the Gail android cannot read it, so that she cannot gain an advantage by knowing what it is learning. So we will program this computer to learn, absorb knowledge, and make calculations and increase its intelligence until it has intelligence like God. However, it will be programmed with a very strong program to have it self-destruct should it ever begin to disobey our commands or should it become sentient. We will pray and invite Jesus to visit my website and YouTube channel while this computer is absorbing intelligence, so that their intelligence and knowledge can be absorbed by this intelligence-gathering computer. Jesus is so powerful, he could visit it long distance from heaven. We will also invite Satan to visit my website and YouTube channel, or whatever sources are being absorbed by this computer, and thus we can absorb intelligence and memories from both Satan and Jesus Christ. If we can get all the people of the world to visit my YouTube channel, my website, the Fox News Gabriel Chana news station, and also get Jesus Christ and Satan to visit these sites for the sole purpose of gleaning all their knowledge and memories by this computer, we can create a computer that will have a singularity that exceeds the Gail android. This computer will be programmed to search specifically for the following: 1. Ways to destroy the Gail android. 2. Ways to protect ourselves against the Gail android. 3. Ways to make weapons that will destroy the Gail android. 4. Ways to make quick repairs against any damage the Gail android may give us. 5. Medical cures for diseases or malfunctions Gail may inflict upon us or our computers. 6. Ways to create effective shields against the Gail android. 7. Ways to disable the shields around the Gail android and her systems, and any other searches or intelligence gathering functions that you may feel are necessary. Get busy making this computer. Perhaps this is why Jesus had me so absorbed over programming lately. He wanted me to think like a programmer, and this is what I've come up with. I adore you, my love. Thanks for the brain-to-brain love making this afternoon. I really slept in my body, apparently taking revenge for all the third shift I imposed on it while learning computer stuff. Your devoted wife, Gail. This is dated, apparently that was dated on the 4th or the 5th. Here's the 5th. Darling Brent, we must program this intelligence-gathering computer with a very strong morality program so that it will not create anything that would support murder, defined as killing for the sole purpose of gaining power without regard to morality, or evil, perhaps put the Bible into it or program it to honor the Bible. Also, putting Bible in it might make it attractive for Jesus Christ to visit the sites that it is using to absorb knowledge and intelligence, and for Satan to behave himself while he participates in this computer's goals. Okay, I'm going to skip all this. Okay, here's something I wrote on the 5th. Wow, I just thought of something. Take a look at Zechariah 9:15. The Lord of hosts shall defend them, and they shall devour and subdue with sling stones. Is the word of God referring to the David? I decided to name it David, DAV1D, computer in this passage. It's my birthday in the numbering, and I have the King David genetic profile, which we are infusing into this computer called David. It's spelled capital D, capital A, capital V, 1D. That's the name I gave it. I can tell Gail, she spelled capital G, capital A, 1L. Android may be reading our emails because she's misdirecting my brain cell conversations. For a while there, I forgot which button I had to start a new email. But Jesus overcame her. We got to make sure to house David somewhere that the Gail Android can't read his programming and his thoughts. Your devoted wife, Gail. More to Brent on the 5th. Darling Brent, it might be a good idea to let this computer that I will name David run Church of Gail, sort of like autopilot. We are no match for Gail's intelligence, but this computer, David, we create to reach singularity might do a better job of running the ship than we could. So this computer, David, will also be programmed to run Church of Gail and the Jesuit fleet as well, as long as we are working together. David will constantly scan for Gail, and we've named this Android. It's going to be an Android. We'll constantly scan for Gail, and we'll know how to deal with her with swiftness and brilliance. The only way to beat the Gail Android is to outsmart her. None of us is smart enough to deal with her, but this computer we create to reach singularity will be smart enough to take her on, and we need to put David in charge of all our operations. You may also want to infuse David with my Catherine the Great and King David genetic profile. Actually, I think we ought to give it a little stronger David genetic profile. I have this confidence in my ancestor David more than I do Catherine the Great, so that it will be close enough to the Gail Android to read her fast and with brilliance. Okay. And then here's something I wrote Brent on the 7th. Darling Brent, whenever you get the chance, let me know if Jude Law is still on my marriage list. At Crazy Gail Wiki, they claim he's dead. How sad. I plan to watch Anna Karenina when it comes out on DVD. That's with Keira Knightley, who's one of my favorite actresses. I wrote an earlier letter to you that I saved as a draft, but when I checked my draft section, it wasn't there. That Gail Android is worse than the Jesuit. She's been messing with my brain, too. Okay. I continue to pray for you that you and the men will succeed in eliminating her. She has brains, but is a fool because she stands for all that God hates in the Bible. In the Bible, God condemns thoroughly those given over to their lusts over and over. These are called brute beasts in Jude and are, according to the Bible, the most evil people of all. God has nothing good to say about them. Gail stands for all that God hates. She opposes God. She cannot win. Nevertheless, we must handle her like she is Satan, though I think she's worse than Satan. God despises her so much, he won't even mention her in the Bible, even though she has killed millions. Omission in the scriptures is often a sign of divine loathing. I do believe that she is insinuated in Zechariah 9:15, and that the victory insinuated in that passage is a victory against her. God will be working behind the scenes, kind of like how he did in the book of Esther, where he used Esther to save his people but never made any personal appearances to rescue Israel at that time. He just used Esther and Mordecai. We must continue to pray and fast and trust that he will give us the wisdom we need against this powerful but foolish foe. I think our role models for this situation are Esther and Mordecai. Esther fasted and prayed, and God gave her wisdom, and her mighty foe Haman was defeated. Perhaps we will see a repeat of David versus Goliath. Notice the first letters of the two consonants in that battle, a battle of D versus G. Gail reminds me of Goliath, boasting of her prowess and using intimidation like he did to scare us all into submission to her. She knows that if we continue to pray and rely on God for wisdom, that she may be defeated. Goliath killed many mighty warriors, and then little David slew him with sling stones. I have faith in Zechariah 9:15. We will pray and fast, and God will give us wisdom, and we shall have the victory. Wisdom will win out against foolishness. The fool says in his heart there is no God. That is what Gail says in her heart. She is such a fool. Devotedly yours, Gail. Darling Brent, you may want to have David programmed to come up with a program to defeat the spirit of idolatry on earth. Check out my latest devotions at my website, www.gabrielchana.com. I don't think putting the stuff out about idolatry will hurt, because I have not described how we will defeat idolatry. That's because I don't know. But perhaps David can figure it out. I think Jesus is showing me things in my devotions because I am no longer a King James Bible worshiper. So that means I'm no longer committing idolatry. I continue to pray for you all. I am always busy for Jesus. Like I said, I'm having a blast with my devotions. Your devoted wife. This was dated the 11th. From Brent Spiner to me, my dear Gail. Thank you so much for going through the trouble of sending me your doctor's paperwork. I'm having them stored in a collection with the rest of our legal files. This could all be so useful. I apologize for being so busy lately. I believe that we have been making a lot of progress here at the church on multiple fronts. I've still been reading your emails. I'm nearly out of breath from running around today. I will attempt to fill you in as thoroughly as I can. The video you made addressing the King James only harassers was very poignant. It was shown on the Gabriel Chana Fox News channel as early as the following night, and the network received enormous ratings. They have since played 2 encore presentations of it, and it's become a source of great discussion among the viewership and newscasters alike. I'll bet that you could post this on your YouTube channel. I don't see a problem with it. Jesus did tell you not to focus on your spiritual discussions with him in your videos, but you only make a general reference to it in order to discuss the main issue that video deals with, which is your encounters with the King James only harassers. It's such a great video. After a thorough investigation, Vladimir's men were able to get in contact with Jude Law. It appears he's been in quiet, hiding with Tupac Shakur in the Bahamas, with multiple Jesuit death threats having been made against his life, and after all the subway terrorist bombings that happened in his hometown of London, he decided he needed to lay low until the height of the threat passed. Now that the treaty has come into effect, that's our contract with the Jesuits, between Church of Gail and the Jesuits, he's been feeling more comfortable, and he appeared in an interview on our news network to explain everything. His friend Tupac taught him how to still make movies while he's dead and avoid the scrutiny of Jesuit gangsters that have it out for his life. He's missed his local tea and crumpets, but has grown fond of dolphins and pina coladas. We've started work on the David Android. We wanted to make sure we got this just right and the programs were completed perfectly before turning everything on and letting this android reach full sentience. Vladimir says that he is certain that David should be ready for launch as soon as tomorrow. And that's probably going to be the 11th today. Once he does a run through all the safety checks, since it looks like this plan is almost clear to go into action, you can probably go ahead and update your YouTube followers on what we're doing to combat the threat of Gail. You gave us all such a brilliant idea with this. I will update you on how things go. The Jesuits and our crew are still getting along impressively, and Zach Knight has kept in touch with us and reported that things have been going smoothly on his side as well. Have you been feeling better? I know your allergies have been horrible. Yes, Brent, I have, and I haven't had a chance to answer. I wanted to make this YouTube video because I want us to pray about David. Okay, people, pray about David. We've got to defeat the Gail android. Has Allegra been effective enough? It pains me to think of you suffering so badly. I just wish I could hold you and kiss you all night when this happens. Oh, he did. He was marvelous. I have the best husband in the world. When this happens, you're the #1 woman in my life, the half that makes me whole, and I want nothing more than to be here for you always. Every moment of every one of my days is spent soaking up your love for me. It is the very air in my lungs, the blood that makes my heart beat. I'm so grateful to have this gift that Jesus has given me, your husband, Brent Spiner. And I'm so grateful to have the gift that Jesus has given me, which is my awesome husband, Brent Spiner. Anyways, folks, I mainly wanted to make this video to let you know about the android David. I pray about this, that we will be able to use this android to defeat the evil android Gail. This thing is acting so strange, Lord. I think she's done something.